Curtis D.I. Wire.
D.I. Wires. What's going on with your uncle, your cousin Gene Simmons? Why he out here making what is it, hot new hip hop calls racist comments about rappers, making it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Haven't we taught you a lesson already, old man?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Somebody come get your uncle. The crazy part about this is that the statements that were made, including a statement of, I'm not from the ghetto, those weren't even the freakiest ones. Don't mind who this individual is. He is innocent in this. Shout out to this interviewer, Ben, who brought on Gene Simmons of the legendary Kiss Band, on this platform called Legends and Leaders. This is on YouTube, and this is a statement that he made. It's got a lot of people scratching their heads and cutting their tongues off. I don't know. But before we get to this statement, because we're going to talk about that at length, can you tell me why nobody is acknowledging this freaky ass statement that this old man just said before this comment? Hit the like button before we get into it. Hey, yo, DIYer, if you're enjoying this content, please don't forget to hit the like button. It helps this video and this channel get discovered by new people. I appreciate you. Now back to the video. We did lose a plot. Listen to what this freaky ass man said before he got into his hip hop statements. We're going to talk about that, but listen to this freaky ass old man.
Well, the difference, if you're lucky enough to have this tribalism, they will put our faces, specifically Kiss faces, tattooed on their bodies.
Yeah. Common? Kiss, legendary band. Tattoos on the body. Where's this going?
For life.
Where
would you say is the perhaps most unique place I ever saw my face in makeup with my mouth open?
I don't know, Grandpa.
I mean, I have an idea.
Well,
that really happened?
Well, you know the phrase, go fuck yourself?
Yeah.
I did.
Want to talk about ghetto, huh? What the fuck did he just say, Grandpa?
Somebody gonna have to
Who Grandpa is this? You know the phrase, go fuck yourself? I actually did it. This freaky ass man decided to get that off because he's a rock and roll star, and then proceeded to get critical about hip hop. I had to play that first with this freaky frog. I had to play this first to give you context about how ridiculous this next statement becomes.
So imagine, and the gateway to hell is right there. The mouth and the eyes are a little bit above.
He's giving us descriptions. It's like his own Epstein files.
That's wild.
And the chin goes down to the tisn't. You know what the tisn't is?
The tisn't?
Is it, don't you?
No, what's that?
Tisn't this and it tisn't that. It's right in between, the place between.
Okay.
Even the interviewer had to be like, all right, bro, hey, man, hey. I think we need to start separating people who do legendary things from legendary human beings. They're not the same.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
You can do legendary things in music and not be a legendary human being. This is some freaky ass shit. We haven't even got to the phrase that they took out. The one he's talking about, he is the ghetto one, actually, since he want to call something ghetto. I just got to put this in the proper context because people kept overlooking this part. How you get critical of hip hop right after this? The tism is, I bet he is just a joy to have over at dinner, isn't he?
Thing and the exit.
Can you imagine him and Cher in the same table?
Right. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Now, so, and the fans name their kids after us and have Kiss conventions and you name it. Do you mind if I take my jacket off?
Sure.
Why would he mind if you in your own place, Gene? You should ask him, would he mind if he took that ponytail out his hat?
I'm going to leave my pants on if that's okay.
It's up to you.
So then he proceeds to get critical about hip hop after that freaky display. Glad we got to that first.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about like relevance, like you were talking about here, like I mean, Kiss has
Oh,
been.
I don't
relevant.
care. Oh, no.
I don't even care.
You just brought up a subject I could give a fuck about.
Because it's always been popular.
No, that's not. Well, there's popular, and then there are words like relevance. Who determines relevance? Critics? Who?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that word? How do you get your relevance?
This man sure do love licking his fingers and putting on the lens. What's that about?
Who does that? Or is it the American idea and ideal of the people, for the people, by the people? The first words are "we the people." That's relevance to me. The fact that, for instance, Iron Maiden
What you doing with
is
that hand back there?
not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when they can sell out stadiums, and Grandmaster Flash is.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Are these signs of dementia? Because if I'm not mistaken, before he gets into his rant about hip hop, did he not lick his finger, tap the screen, and then go rubbing the back of his... What is going on here? Immediately he said, let's talk about hip hop. Sorry if that bass got to you.
Right.
Ice Cube and I had a back and forth, and he's a bright guy, and I respect what he's done. It's not my music. It doesn't speak my language.
Then why are you speaking about it? Oh.
And I said in print many times, hip hop does not belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, nor does opera, symphony orchestras. How come the New York Philharmonic doesn't get the rock and roll? Because it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You know when an old man start yelling out of nowhere? When an old man start yelling out of nowhere, he no longer talking to you. That's them voices in the head that start to act out. We're going to rebut a lot of this stuff, but we should go back to this timeline real quick. Let's go down this timeline really quick. He has had an issue in print, like he said, for a very long time when it comes to hip hop. In 2012, so mind you, we didn't start getting inductees from hip hop into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame until 2007. It started off with Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five in 2007, 2009, Run DMC, and this motherfucker said he had just about enough. Gene Simmons then says in 2012, called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He said he'd buy it and fire everybody. He called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a joke. Oh, in the year before Kiss was able to have eligibility, they've been eligible, it says, after 15 years of eligibility, Kiss finally was inducted in 2014. Funny enough, all these hip hop acts, including Public Enemy, made it years before. Are we starting to get to some of the truth?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
He then goes on to say in 2016, told Rolling Stones he was looking forward to the death of rap. It just so happened to be the same year the NWA got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as well as Ice Cube and their famous back and forth. Yikes. And then 2025, in the same year that Outkast and Salt and Pepper were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he received the Kennedy Center honor under Donald Trump. Do with that what you like. Now, in this particular video, we're going to finish it, but you don't actually get to hear him say, I don't come from the ghetto. It doesn't speak my language, because they cut that part out. But he does stand behind it. Continue, though.
But he shot back and said, no, it's the spirit of rock. Okay, fine. So Ice Cube and Grandmaster Flash and all these guys are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I just want to know when Led Zeppelin's going to be in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
Glad you asked that. You know why Led Zeppelin can't be in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame? Probably because there isn't a fucking Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
A quick Google search will show you this has been a struggle since 1992. Matter of fact, the Hip Hop Hall of Fame plus the museum was founded in 1992 in New York. BET Awards show launched 1995. They lost their funding after Tupac and Biggie's murders. Won the bid for 125th Street building. Phase 1 scheduled for 2018. Never happened. Website still says coming 2025. Now, there's a Universal Hip Hop Museum, 52,000 square feet. Museum planned for South Bronx near birthplace of hip hop. The groundbreaking was supposed to be on 2021, which it was supposed to open in 2023 for hip hop's 50th anniversary. That got delayed. Now it's scheduled for a 2026 opening, but right now what people are enjoying are currently a small temporary exhibit only. So there'd have to be an actual hip hop Hall of Fame for Led Zeppelin to get there. But going back to that ghetto statement, that's the funniest one to me, right? Because we're going to get into all of the stuff that I'm sure you've heard some of these takes, but he may not be able to relate to it because he wasn't from the ghetto, but a lot of them founders. Matter of fact, maybe we should pull that back up. A lot of them founders, I don't come from the ghetto. A lot of them founders, like, rock and roll itself came from the ghetto. Indeed. Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Fats Domino. Gene's own genre was built on black music from the same communities he's distancing himself from. Boy, oh boy, to get old.
Oh, you can't do that. Oh, really? No. Music has labels because it describes an approach. By and large, rap, hip-hop, it is a spoken word art. And you put, beats in back of it. And
tell us more about rap.
Somebody comes up with a musical phrase, but it's verbal. There are some melodies, but by and large, it's a verbal thing. It's rhyming and all that. And I know Eminem can go.
If that what he has concluded that Eminem does is like an auctioneer, I don't think that he's qualified to tell me what Eminem is doing. If you've concluded that everything that you hear from Eminem is that nigga love using that nasty ass tongue. That's why he making so much a part of his brand. Oh, freaky ass tongue. If that's what you conclude that the art of Eminem is, you have lost the plot a long time ago.
I wish him more success. I really don't give a fuck. It just doesn't.
Do you see how that's a backhanded compliment? I wish him success, but I really don't give a fuck. What does that even mean? Congratulations on your baby. I really don't give a fuck. How does that land?
Doesn't speak to me with the genius of being able to put words and music and arrange it. It's much more complex. Here, I'll show you what I mean.
No, thank you. Can you show me what y'all meant with this? I thought this was interesting. I did a little searching. And it says it's wild when white artists like a Gene Simmons are directly influenced by black musicians and still manage to be racist. Gene Simmons and Kiss took their entire image from Patti LaBelle's rock group LaBelle. I didn't even know there was a rock group named LaBelle. Kiss's manager saw LaBelle's costumes and asked the designer to create similar outfits. I like that little ghetto thing they got over there.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Can we do something like that for us? I had no idea about that. That is incredible. That is incredible. Some more details we got to get into. So I thought this was interesting right here because, these are some notes that I compiled in the midst of having this conversation, but peep this out. So here's some of Gene's arguments versus the actual reality. He says it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm using that voice the whole time, by the way. It's never been exclusively rock. Never has the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame been exclusively rock. First inductees in 1986 included Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, and James Brown. R&B, soul, country, pop, and disco acts have always been inducted, but I'm sure he didn't do that research. Hip-hop is spoken word. It's just verbal. Well, it also includes music production, sampling, arrangement, engineering, DJing. Grandmaster Flash invented techniques on turntables that changed all of recorded music. When is Led Zeppelin in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame? Well, there is no Hip Hop Hall of Fame building. Two projects have been trying since 1992. Neither have a permanent physical home. I stand by my words. Oh, yeah, you didn't see that part yet. We didn't talk about that. I guess he caught wind from his caretaker. I said some things that pissed some people off of there. Let me know what happened. He said, I stand by my words, because people were calling the whole ghetto comment, obviously, dog whistling, a bit racist. I stand by my words, he told People magazine. Let's cut to the chase. The word ghetto was originated with Jews. It was borrowed by African Americans in particular, and respectfully, not in a bad way. This nigga talk like you think he Clint Eastwood. He also firmly denied that there were any racial undertones to the use of the word in the particular instance. Ghetto is a Jewish term. How could you be racist when rock is black music? It's just different black music than hip hop, which is also black music. Rock and roll owes everything to black music. Statements of fact, period. All the major forms of American music owe their roots to black music. He also went on the record to say this. Interesting people get upset about opinions. Too bad. Fact, rock and roll, jazz, blues, and hip hop all had roots in black music. No question about that. My question, however, is when are Led Zeppelin? He keep asking this dumbass question, and somebody got to wrap him up. How about we get to some of those? Shout out to Clay Creation. Clay Creation was pissed. Matter of fact, he sent me this DM to tell me about this video. I'm glad he did, because I haven't been on social media, but peep out what he had to say about this situation.
Geriatric and mediocre used to be rock star.
Damn, that's the intro?
Gene Simmons recently had an interview where he said hip hop shouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He says he can't relate to it because he's not from the ghetto, which is ironic because the word ghetto has origins in Yiddish. Gene Simmons was born in Israel. Jewish people were famously put into ghettos during Nazi Germany. He's lamenting about why Led Zeppelin isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Led Zeppelin, who is notorious for stealing from black artists.
I didn't know that.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
What is it about a certain age? Everybody just starts, all them folks start sounding like Don Imus. You're just a bunch of never-headed hoes. What is it about getting to a certain age that y'all just start to sound the same? Does it all just come out at the same time? Is it a shot that y'all get that make y'all all talk like this? Where the hell where does the caucasity come from?
He's complaining about how hip hop is mostly spoken word and not melodic in the era of Future, Lil Uzi, Travis, Playboi Carti, Yachty. One of the biggest critiques for hip hop right now is that it's too melodic. Rock and hip hop come from the same source. If it wasn't for Rosetta Tharpe, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and countless other black artists, Gene Simmons wouldn't have a genre to be mediocre in. If Undy had the first song with rap vocals to chart #1.
Damn.
Rick Rubin is integral to hip hop. Run DMC and Aerosmith. Beastie Boys was a punk band first. Public Enemy and Anthrax, Rage Against the Machine, Linkin Park. Tom York from Radiohead was in a group with Kanye West, Pharrell, and Lupe Fiasco. Travis Scott and Tame Impala have multiple collabs. Gene Simmons is a washed up goofy. It's just mad that Kiss is more known for their look than their actual music. Gene Simmons, you are a guest in a genre that black people created.
Yeah. Initially when I saw it, and I saw the reactions, I had to kind of catch up to some of the conversation, because this is excellent. This is well done. This is well done all the way
Somebody gonna
around.
have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Because I didn't 1,000% disagree with some points, in that I do feel like hip hop is such a large entity that it deserves its own museum, and it deserves to have its own inauguration and its own ceremony and its own space. But let's not get it twisted. All these genres are branches of another genre. Rock doesn't exist without jazz, without soul, without R&B, right? You could even consider rap to be a branch off, especially when you talk about just the rebellious attitude, a branch off to a certain degree of that same lineage. There's a point here I want to get to before we get to listening to the legend talk about this, and that it was a point here that was made. I wanted to make sure that I brought this up. But the actual Rock and Roll Hall of Fame president, if I'm not mistaken, maybe that was in my other notes. If I'm not mistaken, he said that this is supposed to be a place that celebrates the sounds of the youth of America. The sounds of the youth, I believe it was. The sounds of, I gotta find the exact quote. But if that's the case, and this genre is an offspring of things that they saw, that they were inspired by, how could you make that detachment? That is insane. It's always dope when we have OGs like Chuck D that come into the space, internet-wise, and clear this shit up, because I'm sure that he knew that man had hating. What you think he eat? Egg salad sandwiches? He got hating egg salad sandwiches on his breath. Listen to what Chuck D had to say here in this exclusive with TMZ.
Number one, Gene Simmons seems to say this every 3 years anyway. And I guess when the latest group of hip hop artists and rap music artists come in, he's going to issue his point. I mean, he's a rock god, but what he failed
How you gonna guard something that? How you gonna guard something that you a guess in? That's crazy. How you gonna gatekeep a house that you paying rent in? How you gonna gatekeep a house that you didn't build?
to realize is
You're
that
not even on the census report.
it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And everything else other than rock, when rock and roll splintered in the 60s, is the roll. And
When rock and roll splintered in the 60s, everything else became the roll. That's such an important point right here.
soul music, reggae, hip hop, which is rap music, because hip hop is a culture. So it embodies, sight, sound, story, and style. But music, the vocal on top of the music has already been determined. So that's the roll, that's the flow, that's the soul in it. Yeah, Kiss are rock gods, but they don't have a lot of roll to them.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I ain't never heard somebody say, they rock guys, but they ain't got a whole lot of roll to them. What do you mean I don't have a lot of roll to me? You see, do you know that people have tattooed their names? They tattooed their actual faces on their other piece. Yeah, the other piece. And you ever had somebody ever say, you go fuck yourself? Guess what? I fucked myself. Yeah, I did. Old ass telling these stupid ass stories. Please make some sense. Thank you, Chuck D.
I'm black, born in 1960. Being told that I don't belong doesn't even faze me. You know what I'm saying? I really relish the opportunity that I'm able to even be in the music business at all. And thank God for hip hop and rap music making it possible. If somebody would have told me in 12th grade in 1977 that I would be making records or being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, even or whatever, number one, I would have been scratching my head like doing as what? I had no idea. Well, he ain't never going to get off at that point. So, we're in a time where everybody's saying everything at the same time. Nobody's really listening. So Gene is going to probably scream out that probably for the rest of his life. And, he's entitled to his opinion, and he's dealt in the, into the music for so long that his opinion is probably going to be stuck to him.
Like a fart that got wet.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth. And I'm
Like a
gonna
wet ass fart. That opinion is stuck to him. And it does not sound like he is open to hearing about anybody's perspective except for his own about it. That is unfortunate.
However, I've been, a musicologist of note. I'm not a plug guy, but I just recently put out this week, and then I taught a UCLA class for 10 weeks on exactly the threads of what the culture is about, how the music is related, not just 100 years back and or 150 years back in documentation, but how it goes back, maybe 1,000 years. So scholarship matters. Those who really, were in the middle of the muck creating something out of nothing. You got to consider that too. If hip hop created something out of nothing as a culture with rap music, that's no more different than, somebody playing a chord on the side of a shack during slavery. But then,
Do we want to have that conversation though?
somebody gonna have
Do you want to have that conversation though? Turning something out of nothing. You want to talk about this elitism that exists in a voice like Gene Simmons, and he's a symptom of a bigger problem. This elitism that exists within his voice when he talks about, because he goes into detail. He goes into this long-winded detail that we did not react to about how, rap could never be this complex as, if you want to make a hit song, this is what you got to do. The thing is, this is what makes this perfect. It's a perfect song compared to, it's a bunch of inner biases that are wrapped around to be presented as a fact sandwich. And then when you throw in the title of, well, I'm Gene Simmons, damn it, what the fuck have you done? You know who I am? Then people don't even want to question it. But everything should be up for question, especially when it starts to go literally against logic. After the man just talked about his vagina escapades with his tattoos on him, I think everything should be in question after that. Continue.
And again, people calling slavery forced labor right about now. So we gotta just watch the narratives, and we just gotta understand that people they're gonna stay with their beliefs, to the day they die. So don't try to change them. Just try to make sure you keep the facts in the narrative as much as possible. Ghetto don't mean black. Ghettos were, that came out of European term.
Damn.
A cluster of people who are kind of like the same tribe, all in the same area. But you just got to have education so you won't be rattled by things that just come out of left field. A
Right.
lot of people are talking, and not as many people are really listening as much as they should. So when you hear certain things that make no sense, why even waste the time to try to add to it and put layers on it?
I think there's a necessity for the conversation. I'm with them 1,000%. Like you gotta be very careful about the things that you platform. You gotta be very careful about the things that you highlight, especially in a position where we're covering stories and things that are happening. But this has got a lot of people talking, and unfortunately, when you get a lot of people talking, you get a lot of people saying the wrong shit too. When you get a lot of people talking, you get a lot of people who are saying things that are not based in any kind of fact. They're based in their strong passions for just being loud and being heard, even when they're 1,000% wrong or it has nothing to back it up factually. It is unfortunate to hear someone that has done something so legendary be so unlegendary as a human being in this moment, because it's almost like it's two Gene Simmons inside of one trying to clean up. One is doing cleanup, the other one's just talking shit. The other one's like, oh, did I say that the other day? Let me apologize, but I'm kind of not going to apologize because I'm kind of doubling down on it. What a terrible, terrible way to be remembered. That is, yeah. DIYers, what are your thoughts on that? Because I do feel like there should be a hip hop museum, but only the folks who are behind what is going on with the delays in the building know exactly all the things to fight against with that. I would love to see there be the same type of ceremony on a network like a VH1 or whatever on YouTube to show these artists be celebrated amongst their peers and have a space for that. But the truth of the matter is that has not existed in its entirety, in its totality, the way that you see it, I guess, with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But nonetheless, if it is something that comes traditionally from a black created genre, and these are the kids of said genre who are influenced by this genre, what is the issue with it? What is your issue with it, Mr. Simmons? These are my thoughts. You let me know what you think, DIYers.
DIY.
Tear in your eye. Don't